Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. We have a special guest joining us. We have Blair Elbert. How's it going today?
Hello, I'm doing good. Been a busy day, had a writing session, and now we're here, so I'm excited.
Nice. I'm glad to have you here. It's really exciting. I always love bringing Texas artists on, and obviously you're based out of Nashville now, but it's whenever we can bring the Texas artists on, I always enjoy it. So
Yes, I know.
Uh, but this is your first time on the podcast, but we had you on the Hoedown Showdown last year at some point. I'm not going to try to
Yeah.
remember what day it was, but glad to have you here. Glad to talk about everything you got going on. You've been super busy already this year.
Yes, I have. It's just been a whirlwind already. Just got to keep going at it. I released my last song, Whiskey Proof, in end of February now.
Hmm.
It's doing pretty well. We're almost to 100,000 streams, so I'm
Sick.
crazy with the response that's been happening. And actually just got back in the studio about 2 days ago to start a new song. So there will be more music coming.
Nice. Have we been trying to get this podcast scheduled for that long that it's been over a month?
I was trying to figure that out. I don't,
Because for
maybe.
some reason I thought Whiskey Proof dropped in March because that would have made sense for like the timeline on everything. And then I saw that it was in February. And I'm like, I
It
mean,
was
I
very end of February.
okay,
So it, you know,
fair, very fair.
we're
It's
here
one of those.
now.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. So outside of Whiskey Proof, we'll get to that here in a second. How's things been going in Nashville for you?
It's been good. I went on vacation last week, so that was just like nice to have a little reset. But other than that, just writing a lot, and kind of just focusing on my music that's currently out and new music, been performing, playing shows every week. So same old, nothing too crazy, just keeping at it.
Fair, fair, fair. How's where have you been playing shows at? Are you playing a lot of writers rounds right now, or what are you playing right now?
Mainly downtown right now. I took a little bit of a break there for a second. I had
Mm.
my voice was being weird and I just
Yeah.
wanted to get it checked out to make sure everything was okay. Luckily everything is okay. Got it scoped and the doctor said I'm good to go. Um, so yeah, just back at playing downtown and then probably gonna start booking a little bit more of some writers rounds. I have a couple at the end of this month. So
Nice.
kind of getting more into that now that everything's clear.
Fair. That's good. I'm glad you're taking care of yourself and everything's in the clear because now
Yes.
that you bring that up, I remember why it's taken that so long because when we first started doing it or when we first tried to book this in like mid-February, we couldn't because of the voice. And then we were going to
Yes.
try and do it while I was at CRS, but I didn't have any time. And so, yeah. Okay. Now it's all coming back to me.
I just remembered that too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, Nashville is really cool. I love Nashville. CRS reminded me why I like Nashville so much. And, I didn't get to go out as much as I wanted to, but when you're
Mhm.
doing podcasting all day, it's just kind of like the last thing I want to do is go sit in a bar and listen, so
Yeah, it's tiring.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Whiskey Proof is out now, and that's your most recent single. What's kind of the story behind this song?
So I wrote Whiskey Proof with one of my really good friends here in Nashville. We actually went to college together, and she's been a writer on my other two singles before that. So we have a really good thing going as far as songwriting goes, and just being friends. Her name is Claire Carruthers. So we got together one day and just kind of talked about what was going on in life. I think she may have had this idea about whiskey proof and some of the stuff I was talking about related to that. So we kind of just ran with that idea. And it's been a little bit since we wrote the song, but if I remember, it came out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It was just one of those that flowed pretty easily. Mainly just talks about, how sometimes there's relationships that are a little harder to get over. Um, and you can't really drink your way through them and go out and just be fine the next day. So that's kind of just the premise of Whiskey Proof, is going through true, like, your first real heartbreak and the difficulties of, getting over someone that you really loved. So that's kind of where the story of that song came. And then once we wrote it, I immediately knew that it was going to be something I wanted to cut and put out.
Mm,
So I'm just excited to have it out now.
nice.
And, it means a lot to me. I'm really big on just putting songs that mean a lot to me, and hopefully they resonate with other people. So I'm excited that people are liking this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. And getting a chance, like obviously I only have access to so much, but you were telling me that it's doing really well on the streaming platforms. I don't know why I said the streaming platforms, like I'm some old crotchety dude, like those things.
Yeah, those
But
things.
oh no, so that's really exciting, and having interacted with you before and kind of seen your career progress over the last, we'll say, year, just to kind of
Hmm.
keep it easy. It's been really cool to watch you releasing all this music and then, really seeing that the hard work starting to pay off. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah.
It's kind of,
Um, what's that?
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so Whiskey Proof, that was your first single you dropped this year, right? Yeah.
Yes.
What's kind of the thought process as we're wow, it's weird to say that we're already a quarter of the or a third of the way through the year already. So,
I know it's crazy. I was just talking to one of the guys I was writing with today saying, I can't believe we're almost halfway through April.
right. And so it's just like, oh boy, what do I do? Like, I mean, you already look at it and it's like, well, I guess we've done a lot of stuff already, but
Mhm.
it's just kind of hard to realize,
Yeah.
you know. But what's kind of the thought process as you look through the rest of 2024?
So I definitely have plans of getting. I know I just got back in the studio to start another one about 2 days ago, so that's hoping to get that done quickly and put it out as fast as I can.
Mm,
Aiming for May,
man.
honestly.
Yeah.
So gonna get that one out, and then probably get maybe the plan was a couple songs this year, and then I think the next idea is gonna be an EP. So we'll
Mm,
see. Probably a bigger project after that. I'm just focusing a lot on songwriting this year, and getting the songs that I would like to put out. I don't have like a solid plan, but mainly just getting new music out is where I'm at
sure.
right now.
Sure. And I think having the flexibility of being able to just kind of roll with the punches, if you will, is also a very solid plan because like, I mean, we go into the beginning of 2020. Had any of us known that we would be in lockdown for a year and a half
Yeah.
after come March, I think we would all planned 2020 a little bit differently, But,
Mhm.
just kind of having that flexibility, but also being prepared for anything can happen. So,
Yes.
so Whiskey Proof is out and it's an amazing song. Anybody that wants to listen to it, you can listen to it on Spotify, all the streaming platforms and stuff like that. And it's such an amazing song. I was listening to it. Oh, actually I was drunk when I was listening to it the other day. I
That's great.
I was sitting there well because I knew I had we had the solar eclipse thing on Monday, and it
Uh-huh.
was like a Saturday night, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get drunk tonight because it's gonna be a stressful week, so I'm gonna pre kill those jitters or whatever. And I started looking at my schedule podcast, and I saw this one. I was like, oh, should probably like start listening to the music, kind of prepping for everything. And about 4 beers in, that song came on, and I was like, well, I guess I should switch to the whiskey. That seems very,
Oh,
very
I'm glad I
appropriate.
inspired you.
Yeah. So, no, it is an amazing song. I love it. You also mentioned that you're kind of really focusing in on like songwriting this year. So, how do you challenge yourself when you're song just to kind of keep things interesting? How do you kind of keep that momentum going when you're like really trying to focus in on songwriting?
It kind of just comes down to, meeting new songwriters and, you know, getting in the room with as many people as you can.
Hmm.
I know especially like even this month I'm writing with a ton of new people that I've never written with.
Hmm.
So kind of just, getting out there and meeting more people that you can write with, coming up with ideas. I've already had a lot going on in my life
Fair,
this year,
fair,
so that's gives me some inspiration.
fair.
Um, but just really honing in on it because I want to get more music out that just pertains to stuff that's going on in my life, or things I hear people say, things I watch people going on in other people's lives too. So kind of just, keeping it a main focus. Obviously, I'm performing live as
Yeah.
well. So that's always exciting. But really just getting more material,
Mm.
building your arsenal, so they say.
Cool. 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 Now, when you go into these songwrites, do you find it's like obviously you're when you go into a songwrite, you're going to be in a multitude of different situations. Sometimes you'll be in a room of all people that you know, like friends, or all people that you don't know, or kind of a mix of two. Which kind of scenario do you find makes for the most interesting songwrite? Like people, yeah.
Um, it kind of, gosh, it's hard. That's a hard question. I mean, it definitely makes it a little bit easier whenever it's people that I'm super close to and have known for a really long time.
Mhm.
Just because I can kind of, tell them exactly what I'm
But
feeling
yeah.
and what I'm thinking. But it's also really always fun to just write with new people because you can kind of get different perspectives. And like even today, I wrote with a couple of people that I had never written with. And you kind of just get to hang out, and I mean, even you learn so much from other people, and just the way they do things, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. You
That
never know
is,
what you're gonna get when you walk into a room. So it's
yeah.
it's hard to answer that.
Is it fair to say that it kind of depends on where you're at in your own headspace as far as like creatively speaking?
Yeah, that
Okay.
definitely plays a big role into it.
Gotcha. Because, like obviously I'm not a songwriter, but in my head, it's like if you're in a room full of a lot of people that you know and you're comfortable with, you could talk about more personal things because they
Hmm.
understand where you're at. But if you're all going through the same thing, the song may not quite meet in the middle because you're all kind of meeting in the same place. Whereas if you were to go into a room where you don't know any of them and bring the same thing, they
Yeah.
may have all different perspectives and make it a little bit more interesting.
I'm all for one for kind of just laying it out on the table anyways. I don't have a problem telling people
Fair,
what's going on.
fair, very
Especially
fair.
if you're gonna get a good song out of it, because I think that makes, that makes the best stuff is real life.
Yeah, 100%. What have you been listening to recently? Like, who are you listening to right now?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh, the new Casey Musgraves has been one of my favorites. Her new song Deeper Well has kind of been like my theme song for the year.
Fair.
As soon as it came out, I've had it on repeat. I basically have listened to that entire album up and
Nice.
down. That was a big one. Gosh, I haven't really listened to much new music this week. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you
I
find
really
that do you
What were you
find
gonna
that the
say?
music that you're listening to impacts your writing style or what you write about?
Sometimes it does, yeah. I'm kind of constantly just listening to different music so I can see writing styles, how how
Mhm.
they how they phrase things, and just
Yeah,
getting inspiration from that. That's why I love Casey Musgraves. She's probably one of my dream co-writes, just because I love her music and I love her writing style.
nice.
I've also been listening. I really liked the new Megan Maroney song, No Caller ID. That
Yeah,
was on rotation for a while for me. I don't know. It just, gosh, I listened to so much. I can't even remember off the
fair.
top of my head. And then I love Rascal Flatts, so I've been getting back into a deep dive of all their old Rascal Flatts songs.
That's fair. I love it. You see, I've been so in depth, or I've been diving in so deep on like independent music that
Hmm.
I missed 90% of the mainstream stuff that gets released. Like, so one of my favorite artists just released like a new album not too long ago. I didn't even know it. I was just like completely missed that one. I didn't even know they were writing something. So
Oh,
yeah, it
it happens.
it was like, oops, okay, well, I guess I'll go listen to it now, 2 months later after the fact. But
Yeah. Oh, sometimes I'll find like I have Spotify, so I'll just go to my whatever is new music
mhm,
Friday, and that's usually just how if I want to listen to new music, I'll just
yeah.
toss that on, and whatever comes on comes on.
Yeah. So what I've started doing on my Spotify is I have my playlist and I have like everything that I listen, all the independent stuff, like just I'm an amalgamation of stuff that I listen to. But then I'll put on like smart random or whatever it's
Yeah.
called, and it'll start incorporating similar music. And so that's kind of how I've been introduced to some new stuff recently, which is perfect because it's like, okay, I could stay true to what I like, but it's
Yes.
introducing me to stuff that's out or coming out. So,
That's the great thing about these platforms is they can
right.
kind of help you find new music.
Yeah. No, it is, it really is. It really, really is. So, um, with everything kind of going on, we talked a little bit about Miami because you went to Miami last week. So,
Yes.
how how is that? How was the beach?
It was good. Yeah, one of my best friends, his family has a condo there, so he's a teacher, so he was on spring break and just asked me, well, I guess we were there last week, the week before, and said, "You want to come to Miami?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, if there's a week for me to go, now is the week."
Right.
So we bought plane tickets and just hung out at the beach, went to the pool, ate some good food. Didn't get too crazy. Didn't get too crazy this time. It was more of a relaxing trip. I
Nice.
got to do some reading. But it was nice. The weather was overcast like the first day we were there,
Mm,
but
yeah.
it cleared up and it was great. I was just happy to be at the beach. That's all I wanted.
Fair. You mean the lake in Nashville doesn't do it for you? There's not a beach there that does it for you? What is it? Percy Priest Lake?
Oh, it's not the same.
Not the same.
But it is almost lake season.
Yeah. Fair.
Once it
Fair.
gets a little warmer here, it's gross today, but it's gross
Yeah.
right this week. But
I mean, it's been gross. So I'm in Waco. It's been gross here all week. Like, so
yeah.
it's today was the first day that I stepped outside and I was like, oh, it actually feels like April right now.
Oh,
So
I'm ready for it.
yeah,
I'm ready for it.
it's good times, good times. But it's always a blast chatting with you. I did want to talk about this because you will be uh participating in our live podcast here in
Yes.
June, which is exciting. We're it's our this will be our fourth live podcast we've done. First time in
Oh,
Nashville.
okay.
So it's grown year over year or every time we do it. So this is kind of cool and different. And the first time we did it, it was in New Braunfels, Texas in October.
Okay.
We were at a music festival and I was talking to the creator of the festival and he's like, dude, you should do that on Saturday morning before we start playing music. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, just do it. I don't care. So I was
Well,
like,
that's
oh,
nice.
okay. So we set up in the it's at a campground on the rip on the Guadalupe there.
Okay.
And so we set up inside a bar and I asked a couple of my friends like, hey, you guys want to come on do this? And we did it in front of like 12 people that just randomly stumbled in hung over. So it was like, okay, cool. It was fun. So
Hey, a crowd's a crowd.
right. So but yeah, so this one in Nashville is gonna be fun. It's all country musicians. I figured CMA Fest, Nashville, country kind of
Ooh,
works.
it's gonna be a crazy weekend.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited. Never been to CMA Fest and it's going to be an experience. Let's
It's
put
a
it that
lot
way.
of fun. I haven't gone to the nighttime shows
Mhm.
at Nissan, but I'll usually just walk around Broadway down to, I mean, there's shows everywhere that
Yeah.
weekend, so
Oh yeah.
you can end up at a show anywhere. I may try and see if I can, make sure if I can see in getting into Nissan for one night or something, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I just kind of go with the flow.
Fair. Fair, fair. It's one of those things where it's just kind of like the more you're around, the more likely you are to get into these things and it not be that big of a deal. And it's I always am not afraid to go to Broadway, but I like to avoid Broadway
Oh yeah.
because it's like I know what parking's like there, and I don't want to have to walk a half mile to go anywhere.
Yep.
So
Especially
Beal.
around that time because all the streets get blocked off.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So, and that's what's concerning about me is like, or what's going on is it's like okay, it's going like I imagine all you said that all the streets are going to get blocked off, and it's like, cool. Now I have to try and navigate my way around Nashville, knowing I can't go down Broadway if I want to go somewhere, and so it,
Uh,
All fun, all
It'll
fun.
be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah. So, outside of music, obviously, we talked about Miami. What have you been focusing in on to kind of recenter yourself after writing and whatnot?
I've been getting more into reading.
Mm,
I realized that I just kind of let that on the back burner for a while. So that's been something that I've been enjoying
mm,
recently. Um, like two of my best friends read a lot, so they've just been throwing books my way, and it's
nice.
also really good for the like creativity and stuff because it's been giving me some ideas, so that's great.
What have you been reading?
Um, I don't know. I'm pretty much constantly constantly surrounded by music.
Yeah.
Just playing guitar and oh, I've been going to the movies and watching Netflix, all the usuals. I got like a monthly pass. There's like a movie theater here and you can get like a monthly pass and go see as many movies as you want.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's great.
Nice.
And a couple of my best friends have them, so I they finally convinced me. So I've been going to see some good stuff, even if it's bad, like it's not. I pay the monthly fee, so whatever.
Yeah.
But just hanging out, really. I don't just
Just, yeah.
hanging out with friends and going on walks now that the weather is somewhat okay.
Well, it's Nashville. You never know when the weather is just going to turn south on
No,
you.
you never know. Never know.
It, if like when I was there in February, I stepped outside and I was like, this doesn't feel like February weather to me. But
I know I feel like it's very up and down, so which I'm used to this in Lubbock where I'm from,
yeah.
so nothing surprises me at this point.
Yeah. Have you been back to Lubbock recently or?
I trying to think. I haven't been since Christmas.
Hmm.
I saw some of my family, I guess beginning of February. It was my sister's birthday, so some of us took a trip to Vegas. So I saw some of them there. I was thinking today, I don't really know what my plans are for going back to
Mm,
Lubbock. Because usually I'll go back if I have
something.
something. Like
Yeah.
last year, I had a bunch of stuff. Like my mom got married, and I think I went back for a wedding and
Yeah.
something for friends. But this year, I there hasn't been too much going on, so I'm just kind of thinking, when am I going to go back? We'll
It's
see.
like save that money and put it towards your music. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
guys, that's cool.
Um, but we'll see. Maybe sometime around this summer I'll want to make a little trip back and maybe see about playing some gigs back in Lubbock.
Nice, nice. Come back to Texas during the dead heat of summer. That sounds
I know, great plan.
right, right. What do you miss about Texas that you just can't get in Nashville? Besides your family, I feel like that's the given one right there.
Besides my family,
Yeah.
I always say the Mexican food.
Mm.
I miss it so much. I don't know if they have it in Waco, but it's called Taco Villa. It's like drive through drive through Mexican that's actually good.
It's is it like Taco Bueno kind
It's
of?
kind of like Taco Bueno, but
Okay.
better.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I think about it far too often.
Fair. Fair, fair.
And so I miss it so much. I actually thought about it the other day and so definitely that. Um I don't know. It's nice being in Texas. It's similar in some ways to Nashville, but there is kind of just like a Texas air
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Being
There
there is very, very comforting and nice.
yeah, it's I like I mean I've been here 4.5 years. I love Texas.
Hmm.
It's become a home away from home, although my home doesn't really exist anymore. Like it's really because none of my immediate family is back where I grew up, so it's just
Uh-huh.
kind of like it's not really home anymore. Um, but I've been here in Texas, and although I don't get to hang out with my musician friends down here all that often because whenever I'm free, they're playing shows, or whenever they're free, I'm doing my thing. And it's just kind
Yeah.
of like, and that's kind of why I like that festival down in um New Braunfels because we just kind of all come together. Like we all set aside that week, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, it's like a huge party slash high school reunion type situation, and it's a good time. So and it's just kind of like that time to reconnect and whatnot. But
Yeah.
the food here, like That's all they need is a really good pizza spot, and I would be set in Texas for the rest of my life.
Okay, okay.
That's all they really need because old Chicago doesn't do it. So yeah.
That's one thing you're missing.
Yes. But then again, I've been teaching myself how to make pizza, so that's probably
Oh,
the
that's
fix.
probably better.
Yeah, it's probably the fix too. So, but it's you brought up Mexican food. They do have the best Mexican food. There's a place here called Chewy's. I don't know,
Oh
do they?
yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a Chewy's here, and that's kind of I found a couple places that are
Yeah.
close to Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Which is
Eh,
funny because when I lived in Lubbock, I never really went to Chewy's, but now
yeah.
that I'm here, I go.
Fair. That's fair. Very fair. It's I like it. The last time I went, the food was really dry, but I also ordered it takeout. So
Oh,
it's probably because it sat in a container for 30 minutes while I tried to
yeah.
fight traffic to get home. But it was good. I enjoy it. So
Oh, good.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll be getting back to Texas at some point soon.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. It'll be, I'm sure your family's looking forward to seeing you there. So
Oh, yes.
that's awesome. So other than that, you said you got back into the studio to work on, or you're working on new music, and you're hoping like a June, early
hmm
summer, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm thinking May. This one's a little bit more. I wrote this one pretty recently. I went through a breakup at the beginning of like this year, kind of.
Mhm.
So this song is little bit about that, kind of like my healing song, if anything.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm really excited to get it out. We just started pre-production on it, which you kind of just go in and take what we did in the writer's room and it kind of build on it and figure out what we're gonna do and we bring the musicians in to play on it and everything. And I'm already loving how it sounds. So I'm really,
Nice.
really excited. And I've showed some of my close friends and like my mentor, and they're all really, really excited about it and love it.
Nice.
So they not convinced me to put it out, but I don't know, it gets kind of nerve-wracking putting out music that means a lot. But they gave me that push and was like, you need to put this one out. I was like,
Nice.
okay.
So do you think if you hadn't gotten that push, you wouldn't have put it out?
I probably still would have,
Okay.
but it's nice to have support from
Fair.
friends. It
Nice.
gets a little scary putting out stuff that's like very, what's the word? Personal.
Yeah. I completely understood. So since you're kind of in this production prospect or process, not prospect,
Mhm.
you're in the process. Jeez. Oh, I got words all confused over here. So since you're kind of in the production process and pre-production and all that stuff, when you go into the studio, do you already have like obviously you go in with the song written, but are you going in with like a tempo or a guitar lick or like something like that in mind as well, or do you kind of build it with the producer just based off lyrics?
Kind of. You'll have the melody and kind of simple guitar,
Mhm.
I guess, melody too.
Yeah,
This one I had a demo that was like slightly produced, so it's a little bit more of it's a bit of a step up from just on your iPhone with the
yeah.
guitar. So that also always helps the process a little bit. But yeah, you kind of have the general idea of what you want it to sound
Mm,
like. And then I'll go in with my producer. I think we spent a few hours the other day working on it, and this one has a little bit more intricate parts. So kind of just working through each individual instrument. We did like two different acoustic guitars, baritone, bass, putting sample drums.
mm.
This is just kind of getting the overall sound of it. Probably gonna have a steel guitar on this one.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, kind of figuring out different melody lines, locking in a more that you kind of just narrow in
Gotcha.
on what you have written, and
Fair.
if you can find a good catchy melody phrase in the instrumentals,
Gotcha.
that's always
So
nice.
you're basically going in with the skeleton and then you just kind of build it out from
Yes.
there. Nice. That's really cool. I was always kind of curious because most of the time when I talk to people, they've been out of the studio for a while. And so it's kind of interesting to sit down and chat, especially when you're kind of going through the process right now of,
hmm
you know, working on music. So when you go into that aspect, are you also thinking about like live performances and how you can represent this live, or is that kind of come after the song is produced and
Yeah,
then
kind of.
Mhm.
A lot of the times the stuff, like the different instruments that get laid down in the studio, it's usually a lot more than what I would have live
Mhm.
right now. So once it gets played live, my band will kind of give it a listen, and it like drums you can pretty much emulate
Yeah,
the same. Bass too, it kind of just comes down to guitar. You can pretty much emulate it the same depending on how many guitars you have. I know most of my songs have a couple guitars on them.
yeah,
But getting a idea of that instrumental that's close enough that it sounds the
yeah,
same.
gotcha.
Which later on, you have backing tracks and
Mm,
that's when you get a little bigger and you're on tour. You have
yeah,
backing tracks that kind of fill in that. But playing it live is kind of just making it making the crossover to make it sound just
yeah.
similar to the record.
Yeah, absolutely. And I asked that question mainly because I think that's an important aspect. It's like it doesn't have to be 100% what it is on the record, but it has to be close enough that the essence of the song is still
Yeah.
there. Because I've definitely been in some situations where I go see somebody play because I've heard their album, and then you go to their concert and it sounds nothing like the album because it's got zebras and like whatever on the album, but they can't
Hmm.
recreate that live, so like all the essence like the essence of the album isn't there.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of like the fact that you look at that, and yeah, I think it's important for musicians to kind of take that all into consideration as well.
It definitely is because you don't like at the end of the day, you want the song to sound like the song.
Yeah,
So I mean, my band is great. They know to make it sound like it's supposed to sound.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So with everything going on, you got the Whiskey Proof out now, you got the new single that'll be dropping in the summer, shows, all that fun stuff, and then we have our thing June 5th, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be fun.
I know, I'm excited.
I've never done it with six musicians before, so that's going to be a little interesting to kind of get that going. It's always been like two or three musicians, so it's just
Uh-huh.
kind of been like, hey, let's step it up. Let's make it little bit bigger of a deal. So I'm excited to have you on and all that fun stuff. But if people want to check out your music, catch a live show, interact on social, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on all social medias, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, at Blair, Blaire underscore Elbert, Elbert. And then you can find my music on all streaming platforms, wherever you listen, just under Blair Elbert.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, once again, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Hopefully, you have a great rest of the week. I mean, I guess the week's already over, so great weekend,
Oh my gosh, it's already Thursday.
right? Right?
I lose track these days. I don't even know.
It's one of those things. It's like I'm glad I have a 9 to 5 right now because I wouldn't even know anything going on right now.
Oh
Like,
no. And I play every weekend, so it's like my week starts
yeah,
on the weekend. I don't know.
right.
I'm all over the place, but
It's like, oh, it's Thursday. Oh, I've got a show. Nope, nope, nope. It's Friday.
yeah.
Yep. So I totally get it. I totally get it. But once again, I appreciate you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later.
Yes, bye.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, where's all the stop at?